Hi, thanks for stopping by today. I wanted to talk to you today about how I store my fabric. It's a big topic for all of us that are enthusiastic quilters. I'm no different than that. We all have different amounts of space that we have available to us. We all have different methods for how we organize our fabrics. Some of us have more space available than others, and some of us have different methods on how we store it. Across the board, we always are looking for something a little bit different or a little bit better than what we might already have. Not to say that what we already have isn't really awesomely good. It's just that we always are wanting to find a way to improve what we have in order to protect our investment. Because we all know fabric costs a lot today, a lot more than it did even a couple years ago. And every ounce of that fabric needs to be taken care of well so that it can be used to its fullest extent. And I'm talking all the way down to scraps. And scraps and their storage is a completely different topic that we'll touch on another time. But today, what I wanted to show you is how I store the bulk of my fabric and my in progress projects. So, yes, I have lots of projects in process, and they are not pigs, which is projects in grocery bags. They are not all the other acronyms that you can assign to a UFO, an unfinished object, but I put them in my totes, my little cubes in the back, and it works really, really well for me, the system that I have. So, I separate my fabrics out in two specific categories. I have batik and I have cotton. Now, of course, batiks can be 100% cotton. They can also be 100% rayon. So you need to understand your fiber content in your collection so that you know how you need to not only store it, but use it as well as launder it because rayon fabrics need different attention than cotton fabrics do. That's just the way it is. That's what they're made of. So I have batiks and I have cottons. All of them are cotton, but the batik is a tighter weave than a traditional cotton, and that's why I separate them out a little bit. Inside of each collection, they are then put by sort of by the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And I try to make it so that as a fabric, if a fabric has a little bit of yellow but a lot more orange in it, it's gonna go in a different place if it's just all yellow or if it's all orange. And when you line your fabrics out, you can begin to see some of that. What you can see, let's see, off to this way, if I can figure out which way to turn. Nope, that's the wrong way. Here we go. To me, you're in mirror, so I'm trying to figure out how you're going to see the most of what I want to show you. This cabinet right here is my batik cabinets. And all of those, you can kind of sort of see the range of colors that they go on the top. The very top shelf here is actually my fabric that is sufficient enough to create a wide back. And then we start over here and go from light or white into yellow, orange, red, and then we have some more, and we come down here and we're going like this to get into the green, the blue, and the violet. So that's how that goes. So then what you can barely see down below me here are a couple cubes where I have excuse me, projects in process that I'm actually teaching at the moment. Excuse me, pardon me, but you didn't want me coughing in your ear. Um, so that is how I begin to start cataloging it. Above, you see a narrow shelf, and that has some more wide backs in it. And above it, you see the base of where I have some bolts. And those are all batiks. Everything that's in that lineup is batik. What is directly behind me in the middle cabinet, it has the same. Let's see if I can get out of your way. Has the very same. Uh, um, pardon me. Has the very same organizing part of it in that the top is the very top of the comic book boards starts with your lightest fabrics, and you can see how they go in color sequence all the way down to here. Then I have more cubes where I have projects in process that I'm actually teaching or filming about. The very skinny section up there in that cabinet is actually what I have as fat quarters. And I can put a whole lot of fat quarters if I fold them out, let them lay more flat, and I can put them there and see them at a glance. Above that is more bolts. And I have a collection of things that need to begin going on my comic book boards. And the last cabinet behind us, all the way over there, are the projects that I have that are coming up to play as far as things that are going to be in the upcoming classes that I need samples for, as well as current things that are personal for me. Sometimes I get to sew on my own things, and I really like that every once in a while, and I want to be able to have access to it at my fingertips and then just keep going. The other thing that is in here are my jelly rolls or my strip sets, as well as other pre-cuts, whether they are layer cakes or charm packs or anything like that. And up here, I have kits that I haven't actually broken into, and then other books that go along with the instructions for all of these projects. So that, in a nutshell, is how I organize my stuff. It is out of the sun. It is also out of the sunlight. Let's see that I just said that. It's out of the sunlight. It is in a manner that can be more controlled for dust and any other kind of things. We do have a dog in the house, and so it protects it from the elements of the air and whatever kind of elements might be floating around or just come off of our own personal selves as our clothing or our own hair or anything else, the dust, the dander, the pollen, or if you live out in the country, then there's dirt that blows. If you live in the city, then there's smog that's in the air. There's a lot of different things that come in and can settle inside of our fabrics and really just cause us a lot of havoc. Um, we want to take care of our fabric. It's a huge investment. Um, and what you may not know, and it may not make a difference at all to you, but if you ever wanted to try to figure out what your smaller pieces of fabric are valued at because you've had them for a while, pick up a stack of your fabrics and go put it on the scale. And uh, if you have if your scale will give you a pound or incremental weights, what you can count on is that it takes 3 yards of fabric to equal 1 pound of fabric, 1 pound. Okay. So if you end up with 10 pounds of fabric on that scale, that's 30 yards. At today's prices, that's, that $14 a yard. You do the math. That's a lot of money. It's not insignificant, and you need to take care of it and value it. It's worth something. Now, I mentioned about comic book boards. Up until probably, I would say, a year ago, I didn't use them. I didn't. I didn't think that they would. Honestly, I didn't think they were worth their salt. I had heard a lot of women that had commented on doing them and what it meant to them and their collection, and I thought, I just maybe don't want to spend the money on those boards just to put my fabric on it. And the longer I thought about it, and then of course these cabinets came into play, I thought, maybe there's something to it. So I bought my first order of comic book boards, and I was sold. You can buy your comic book boards anywhere off of Amazon, any place that you can find them, you can order them. I personally do order mine from Amazon, and you can get different sizes. I buy the ones that fit in my stuff according to what my cabinets need. They can be taller, they can be wider, they can be, you can have different quantity of the box. They could come with or without something that's called alligator clips. And so I'm going to take you over to the workspace right now. And right off the bat, here is a box. Well, first of all, there's some lovely fabrics that I purchased just a couple weeks ago, and they need to go on my comic book boards. But this is the box of my comic book boards. It's brand new. I just cut the tape on it to do the filming. And inside of it, what you'll see here is there are I think there's like 250 comic book boards. I buy the size that has this measurement, the short measurement. Let me see if I can do it. This measurement right here. Um, this is it's all slightly bigger than an 8.5 by 11 because my cabinet shelf space is like 12 inches wide. And so when you wrap your fabric around and around and around, this measurement, which is like 7.5 or whatever, this measurement starts to grow bigger and bigger. And if I put it in there like that, just like what you would find on This board, there it is, it's all wrapped up. And I have my alligator clips on here. These little doodahs are what they call an alligator clip. And I think because it has little teeth in it to help it stay in place. But they work as long as I don't have a huge piece of fabric. And you can see, so there's a portion, and there's one, two, and three, about roughly three to three and a half folds on here. And what you probably saw as well when I start this is painter's tape. If you don't secure your if you don't secure your fabric onto your board in some way, shape, or form, you can fold it up as much as you want and it'll just keep slipping right out. I don't mind the painter's tape because by the time I get to the end, it comes off. It's made to come off, and there's no sticky residue. Now this has been folded up for a year, and there's not a bit of sticky residue at all. I don't mind it. I think that's much better product to use touching my fabric to keep it on my board than anything else. Now there's times when I want to put it on my board, and my alligator clips aren't gonna work at all because there's too much fabric. These are going to only work on a thin amount. And you can see right there that that's not very many folds, but it will work for that size of an alligator clip, and it's perfect. The other thing is that when you learn what size your boards are, so I can come up here and if I forget, I can measure, just put it down on my rotary cutter mat and say measure, and it's like, oh, 8 inches or oh, 7 inches, whatever. You can count your folds. One, two, there's the board, there's another three, four. There's four lengths of that width. There's four times that width, and then I know within a matter of seconds how big this piece of fabric is. Works like a charm. But when I have a piece of fabric that is more, you can see the difference here. That's got quite a bit more fabric on it than this one does. Let's see if I'll put that back. There's only four there. This one has one. I'm going to go to the other end because this has the folds on it. One, two, three, four. Actually, there's probably, okay, five, six, seven, eight. What I'm seeing in there is that there's actually two pieces of fabric that are the same. And between the two pieces, there are eight lengths or eight widths of this, whatever this measures out to be. Eight times this width tells me again that I have that much fabric. So between 4 and 8, I get to the point where my alligator clips don't work and I use rubber bands. I get these little doodahs at the office supply store. They are not, there's not anything special about them. They're thin, they are stretchy, and sometimes you have to break the stretch in a little bit so that it will do exactly what you want. And literally you just put those on there and it doesn't hurt it at all. It doesn't cause any wrinkles, it doesn't cause a pleat. It just holds it closed. And then when I go to refile those, I'll just put what's left on them into my color coordination system. But if there's not enough to even wrap around one time or one and a half time, that's when I start to think about how else do I need to store it. If it's less than one wrap around, then that's when it goes into the scrap piles, and that's not a problem. There's back to the main camera. I can cut that what's left and put it into my fat quarter stash, and then if I want to, I can then put it into 2.5 inch strips or 5 inch strips or whatever other measurement that I want to have it available for a next series of projects. So that's kind of what I do. I those tubs that were under my long arm are still there. They just have other things in them now besides fabric. This is a great way to be able to open a door and say, I want a blue, and go to the blues, pick through them to find something that should work. And if you can't find anything, then you know you need to go and shop. If I can find what I need off of my own shelves, I'm going to shop off of my shelves first, and then I'm going to add and supplement as I need to go pertaining to each project. But that's what I wanted to share with you today. In the comments below, I will put a link to the uh, comic book boards that I use. If you begin your search with that, you can go all around and find others that might fit your need and your storage situation better. You can buy them, again, you can buy them with or without the clips. You can buy them in bundles of 100 or 200 or whatever you might want. I would really recommend that you start with a single order, a single box, and find out how far that takes you. It didn't take me long to figure out that one box certainly wasn't going to take care of it. And now I've got two more boxes waiting for more fabric to be folded. Those shelves are going to fill up pretty quickly in a little bit. But I wanted to share. I'm tickled as all get out that you stopped by to visit with me today and let me share some of what I've got going on in my world. I would ask that if you like what you saw, click on like, and if you want to see more, click on that subscribe button because there's always something new coming around the bend, and I can't wait for you to come back and see us again and see what's going on. Give me a comment, a shout out, whatever you like. I would really love to interact with you, and I enjoyed our time together. Um, Hope to see you soon, and thanks for stopping by. You take care now.